And we're told that the last term in this sequence is 45,927. In part A, we found out we were multiplying by 3. So our sequence looks like this. It's got 7, then 21, then 63, ... We know that term 5 was 567, and it's going to end at 45,927. So when we go to our formula, Tn equals T1 r to the n minus 1, if we want to find out what number this term is, question mark, what it's telling us is we don't know n. Okay? We don't know what n is. And again, I think these are the hardest questions because even though you don't know n, you do know what Tn is. I don't know how many there are to get to 45,927, but I know when I get there that that term is equal to 45,927. So sometimes people start to think that Tn means the last term. In this case, it does. In this case, the last term is Tn for what we need to do, but Tn is just any term you want. You can put any number in for n. If you want term 3, then Tn would be T3, and n would be 3. If you wanted term 5, then n would be 5. Since we want the last term, and we want to find out how many there are, in this case, Tn is 45,927. We know term 1 is 7. We know r is 3. We have n minus 1. Now, if I take 45,927 and divide it by 7, I'm going to get 6,561 equals 3 to the n minus 1. Now, you haven't learned a technique yet for solving mathematically, algebraically for n in an exponent, and you won't learn that until next year when you learn logarithms. Now, in this case, you know that solving for this n, you know it has to be a whole number, because you can't have 55.3 terms in a sequence. So we know it has to be a whole number, so what you're going to do is just start looking at your powers of 3. See if you can find one that's equal to 6,561. So you take out your calculator and try a number. Say 4. 3 to the 4 is equal to, you type it into your calculator, it says 81. 81 is too small. So you try a bigger number. So you try 400. Your calculator explodes because it says that number is way too big. So maybe that was a bad jump going from 4 to 400.
It's
to the power of 8. So if you tried 3 to the power of 8, sure enough, you get 6,561.
Yes.
It doesn't take too long to find that number. Of course, if you went from 4 to 400 and then you went down, maybe you would realize that that was too much. But your estimations will work out, and then you come back here and say, well, instead of writing 6,561, I know that that's equal to 3 to the 8. And this side is equal to 3 to the n minus 1. By observation, if those two are equal, what does n have to be? 9. Because 9 minus 1 is 8. So you're going to feel a little bit, as far as being a pre-calculus student, pre-calculus students normally don't like guess and check as a way of getting part of the answer. It feels a little bit wrong. In this case, you do just have to, at this point, use educated guess and check until you get 3 to the power of 8. And then you can just observe that n has to be 9. There are mathematical ways of doing this. And you're going to learn them in your grade 12 course next year or next semester, whenever you've decided to do that. So again, for those of you that didn't see before, the three questions are 8, 9, and 11.